Information fueled.
Opinion driven.
This is Nashville's Morning News with Dan Mandis.
And so, my fellow Americans,
we talk news.
5:06, Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Good morning to you, friends. How are you? Man, there is. I know. I say it every day. There's a lot going on. We, of course, have Iran. They have attacked a hospital and a high-rise apartment building, and Israel continues to go after military and nuclear sites. I think that, you know, in this battle, and I've got a lot to cover here, but I think in this battle, as Iran and Israel continue to bomb the hell out of each other, I think that Iran is really, they're proving why they should not have a nuclear weapon. Because they're going after, and we've been talking about this for a long time, they're going after really civilian sites, obviously. And this was you heard Joan reporting on this, they're going after hospitals, high-rise apartments, and these are direct hits. And Israel continues again to go after military and nuclear sites. This was on Fox News last night.
Yeah, just more interceptor rounds coming off. We're just trying to follow everything that's moving here, Liz. And there's more right above us.
Trey Yingst.
Just get ready to move, everyone. Stay with us, Liz. We're here.
He's got a helmet on, Joan.
So right now, air raid sirens are sounding across Tel Aviv.
I would too.
Incoming Iranian ballistic missile attack. The fact that the sirens are sounding means that they are directly over the city at this moment. Liz, we are watching this unfold live.
Do you remember the Scud Stud from way back when, Joan?
Oh, yes.
Trey Yingst is turning into the modern day Scud Stud.
Braces for more of this fire. They have to ensure that they have the ability.
I'm not making light. I mean, this is serious.
Missiles.
Have you seen, like, when they get close and his cameramen pull him in?
Yes.
It's frightening.
Shelters across this country. And
well, he's doing great work.
Amazing.
I mean, when, you know, everybody's going to the bomb shelter, dude's on a roof.
Right.
13th wave of Iranian ballistic missiles since Friday when
and he keeps his cool. That's the amazing thing. He is so cool, calm, and collected.
We're just going to take a second here, Liz, and pause.
Of course, he's waiting for the explosion.
Sure.
And hoping it's not like his building that has exploded.
Here, as the Israelis are continuing their strikes against the Iranian targets, and the Iranians launching more ballistic missiles into this country, Liz.
Yeah, and they sure did. And again, as we've been reporting, and we'll report to you all morning long, Iran hits a hospital and a high-rise apartment building. Israel going after those military and nuclear sites. It appears that Donald Trump, at least if you believe the reporting, it appears that Donald Trump is close to coming to a decision. He's already made, the decision. He knows what he's going to do. He was presented with the options, and now he is, it would appear, within, hours of making a decision on what exactly is going to happen. The other day, he posted on True Social that Tehran should evacuate. If you live in Tehran, if you work in Tehran, you've got to get out of there. Donald Trump was asked the question yesterday about what his plans are. I love this audio bite because it was, I don't know who it was that asked, it may have been Caitlin Collins, but listen to this question.
Whether you are moving closer or you believe the U.S. is moving closer to striking Iranian nuclear facilities. Where's your mindset on that?
I can't say that, right? You don't seriously think I'm going to answer that question? Will you strike the Iranian nuclear component? And what time exactly, sir? Sir, would you strike it? Would you please inform us so we can be there and watch?
I mean, and here's what's funny thing, Joan.
I love that he's making fun of her.
He's in front of a bunch of construction workers. I think he was putting up the two flags.
He was, yeah.
And the construction workers behind him are laughing at and that was not Caitlin Collins. I don't know who it was, but the reporter just, looks dumb. Now, Bloomberg reporting it could come in the next couple of days. The attack, they say, will consist of stealth bombers that include 30,000-pound bunker busters on their nuclear sites. Still, Donald Trump is not saying anything for obvious reasons.
I mean, you don't know that I'm going to even do it. You don't know. I may do it. I may not do it. I mean, nobody knows what I'm going to do. I can tell you this, that Iran's got a lot of trouble, and they want to negotiate. And I said, why didn't you negotiate with me before? All this death and destruction. Why didn't you negotiate? I said to the people, why didn't you negotiate with me 2 weeks ago? You could have done fine. You would have had a country.
Yeah. I mean, listen, you talk to people and you listen to folks who are watching this whole thing take place. Iran has been decimated. And by the way, again, they say that you have Donald Trump. He's formulated a plan. It's going to utilize these stealth bombers and these bunker busters and so forth. And that was a big screaming headline on the Daily Mail this morning. You know, basically it was Donald Trump's got plans in place. They say the president has approved an attack plan for American troops against Iran, but has not given the final decision to carry them out. Well, they've always got plans. I mean, the Pentagon, it's almost like they probably have a menu of options for the president. You know, here's one thing you could do. Here's another thing you could do. Here's another thing you could do. The president was quoted yesterday as saying that he's always got a plan and he is ready to go. And so this is part of President Trump, and he has given Iran warning after warning after warning.
I have ideas as to what to do, but I haven't made a final. I like to make the final decision 1 second before it's due, you know, because things change. I mean, especially with war. Things change with war. It can go from one extreme to the other. War is very bad. There was no reason for this to be a war. There was no reason for Russia, Ukraine. A lot of wars there was no reason for. You know?
I was waiting for him to say war is hell, because war is hell, and we'll have to see where this whole thing plays out. By the way, there was a lot of conversation about Tulsi Gabbard, Director of National Intelligence, and about how she was not at these meetings. You remember this. She was not at the meetings as far as, you know, the planning for what President Trump is going to do. And a lot of people were angry and upset. Why was Tulsi Gabbard, the DNI, why was she not at these meetings? Well, it turns out that she may have done something really dumb, because a lot of people are saying, well, the reason why Tulsi Gabbard wasn't at these meetings with the Trump administration plotting and planning Iran is because of that testimony where she said that Iran has not had any plans for a nuclear weapon for, you know, many years now, and that went against the Trump narrative. And so as the story goes, from people who are running around calling, you know, people who are supportive of Iran not having a nuclear weapon neocons, apparently here's what the story is. The Director of National Intelligence ticked off the Trump team and Trump himself when she posted a video of San Francisco getting obliterated with a warning about nuclear annihilation right after this battle began. And so apparently that angered, you know, Donald Trump's inner circle and Donald Trump himself, because that, simply put, is not helpful. And everyone knows that Tulsi Gabbard, she is one clearly, obviously, and rightfully so, is against entering into these kinds of wars or skirmishes. So that's why. Here's the deal. When you work for Donald Trump, you have to take that social media influencer hat off and buckle down and just do the job. And so I think that's part of what's going on with all of these folks that have gone into the Trump administration that were, you know, social media influencers, or they're on, you know, Fox News. They've got radio shows. Bongino, it sounded like Bongino the other day. This was, I think, when I was on vacation, but I don't remember. But Bongino, it actually, and you folks know the story that I'm talking about. Bongino, actually, it sounded like he regretted going to work for the Trump administration. And I think that they're all finding out and figuring out that it is a lot easier. And this is, you know, why I think Tucker Carlson is, you know, grating on my nerves a little bit these days, because it is a lot easier to sit around and bloviate, which, by the way, is what I do. It's a lot easier to sit around and bloviate as opposed to being, you know, in the administration, having to make really hardcore decisions. And so I think the part of my coverage today is Tucker versus Ted and that whole thing, because I've got some great audio from their exchanges. And it's just, there's a lot going on. I need some help from the audience, by the way, Joan, and maybe you know. Super text line is open, 615-737-9986. But I need to know, what is Mark Levin's name for Tucker Carlson? Do you know what it is? Chris Ann mentioned it the other day. I was driving home or to the hotel from the event the other night, and I'm listening to Mark Levin, and he's calling Tucker something. And it just Chatsworth T something.
Yeah, it has something to do with Qatar.
And it just sounded dumb.
Yeah.
And I'm like, Mark, just stop. Stop it. Just stop it.
Chatsworth Osborne Jr., the name given to Carlson, by Rush Limbaugh. Rush Limbaugh first gave it to him.
Oh, is that coming into the text line?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, it's something that I'm reading online.
Oh, got it. All right.
Yeah.
And so we've got this is what's frustrating me this morning. And that's been bugging me ever since, because I have a lot of respect. You know what my problem is that I have a lot of respect for Tucker Carlson. I have a lot of respect for Ted Cruz. I have a lot of respect for Mark Levin. And what's frustrating me is that you've got people who are out there that are saying, yeah, you know what? Iran should not have a nuclear weapon. Well, you got the other side calling you a neocon. No, man, that's just common sense. That is just common sense. Iran, I mean, as I just said, you've got a terrorist nation hitting a hospital and a high-rise apartment. I don't believe that Iran should have a nuclear weapon, and suddenly I'm a neocon? That doesn't make any sense. It's common sense that they should not have a nuclear weapon. And I mean, somebody called me yesterday a fake conservative on the super text line. It's like, whatever, dude. Here's the thing, is that everybody arguing back and forth with, for example, Mark Levin trying to disparage Tucker Carlson with these silly, stupid names, or the conservative slurs where you have some people calling other conservatives neocons and that kind of a thing. Can we all just not have a conversation? You're blowing, in my opinion, you're blowing your own credibility when you call other people where we mostly agree on a lot of stuff. But we can't have a conversation without being called a neocon, or, some conservatives calling other conservatives anti-Semitic if they're against getting involved in this thing. There's just, we all need to stop and just have adult discussions, because this is a really serious situation that we've got going on here. And there is a middle ground. Obviously, clearly, there is a middle ground where we can utilize a bunker buster and take care of their nuclear facilities and then be done with it. But then you have to look at what happens next. Okay, so then is Pakistan going to get involved? That's a situation that we're going to have to deal with. You've got the Russia and the China factor. That is also something that we have to deal with as well. And the other side of that coin is, okay, well then what happens in our country? Because there are predictions that we're going to end up with cyber attacks, because Iran, no matter what happens over there as far as their military and nuclear abilities, they can take us out with a cyber attack. They can try to take out our grid. They can try to take out hospitals and so forth. So there are very serious implications to this. And so sitting around screaming about, this guy's a neocon and that guy's a Semite and Chatsworth T, whatever the hell it is. Stop it. We've got to have conversations, folks. And running around and calling each other neocons is just, honest to goodness, they sound like fifth graders. That's what it's beginning to sound like to me, is y'all sound like a bunch of fifth graders. Shut the hell up. We can all have differences and not resort to moronic and stupid names. I love what Trump is doing. I think that I do trust that Trump is going to do the right thing. And even if we do utilize that 30,000 ton bunker buster, I think is what it is. Even if we utilize that, that doesn't mean that we're starting to engage in a nuclear war. And remember, Russia and China and Pakistan, if they choose to side with Iran in all of this, well, then guess what's going to happen? Then they're going to have to contend with us. And we still have one hell of a military. but I don't believe that it's going to immediately devolve into a nuclear war or a long-term engagement. It could. But Donald Trump is looking at all of these things. And do you know what? Do you know who I really trust in all of this, as a matter of fact? So, do you know why I really trust Donald Trump with this decision, Joan?
Why?
Because he is anti-war.
Yeah, right. I mean, that's his whole point.
That's his whole point, is he is anti-war. This is why I trust him. I trust him a heck of a lot more than I trust a Lindsey Graham. I trust Donald Trump because he doesn't want this, but he knows what he has to do. He knows that Iran cannot have that nuclear weapon. And I think that he has even come out and said, regime change, no regime change, whatever. But the bottom line for Trump is they cannot have a nuclear weapon. And he is as anti-war as they come, which is, again, the reason why I really do trust Donald Trump with all of this. All right. That's a long segment. I didn't mean to go that long. It is a 5:23 on
You're
Nashville's.
a bloviator.
That's what I do, man.
That's right.
I am a professional bloviator, and I've got to get better
Dan,
at
the
it, too.
bloviator, Mandis.
Just don't call me a neocon or fake conservative. I'm still pissed off about that.
Dan, the fake conservative. No, that doesn't roll up the tongue like bloviator.
No, it doesn't. Bloviator Dan. Whatever.
The bloviator sounds better.
Yeah. All right,
Yeah.
very good. Whatever. All right, it is a 5:23 on Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. By the way, the Super Text line is open, 615-737-9986. By the way, where are we going today? We have a lot to talk about. Again, we have Speaker of the Tennessee House, Cameron Sexton. He's going to join us to talk about the negotiations with Elon Musk on building that tunnel between B&A and downtown. That's going to happen at 7:38. And at 6:38, Congressman Tim Burchett, he's going to join us, the latest on the battle between the TVA and at Cheatham County. I had a great conversation with John Rich the other day, and he is just bare knuckles, man, going against the TVA. We'll talk about all of that straight ahead on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Ow. Sorry about that. Joan, what's coming up?
Well, new reporting says that President Trump has already made up his mind about bombing Iran. We've got more about that. Also, there's another setback for Elon Musk's SpaceX. Those stories and more coming up here at 5:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.